had some people who put their shift in. Kyle Wood, 55 tackles, 17 of which were marker tackles, and Jordan Crowther, 41 tackles, 10 of which were marker tackles. Now, that kind of works against what I'm going to say next. I've only seen the highlights.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
and read a couple of match reports and I did listen to the last 10 minutes or so on Radio Leeds. I think I was listening to it on the last 10 minutes or so, and saw a few tweets floating around. Wakefield fans, next week get your views into us so we can see if the Twitter noise backs this up. But I felt like Wakefield weren't working that hard in this game. They did take advantage of a couple of Salford errors for a couple of their tries. So Bibby and Evalds were good at the attacking end of the field, but had a couple of lapses on kicks. Probably understandable when you're winning a game fairly easily. But yeah, and some of the packages, some of the highlights packages, some of the bits, some of the clips just made me feel like there was a lack of effort from Wakefield, which doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like this Wakefield side on the chest has ever had that.
No, it doesn't. That would be unusual. That they're not noted for that.
And now I don't know if it's more you throw the form into the fatigue situation because they've been playing with men down. You know, they're losing players in games quite a lot, and players are playing injured and that sort of stuff. I know that applies to all the teams, but you know, they've not got they've got a very good side, but they've not got a very, very good squad, have they? Let's be honest about that. I think we need to be honest about that. So I think that maybe it's part of that. I don't know why a little bit of lethargy crept in there, but I just I wasn't impressed. And then, you know, Paulie was getting great reviews at the Red Devils, comes back and looks lazy for Trinity. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised he started the game. I'm surprised Kalepi Tanganoa didn't get out long ago, because I thought he was good the week before. One of the bright sparks in that 0-0 against Leeds Rhinos for Trinity. But that big, certainly Hastings and Josh Jones work off each other very, very well in this side. Josh Jones always does the run that Hastings want him to do, and Josh Jones will do it over and over again. That's why he has so many tackle busts and so many meters, because he carries the ball loads, because Jackson Hastings just plops it into him when he's got no play set up. But what that then eventually tends to do is there'll be an offload somewhere, and Evalds reads the game so well. So well. You can see that from the first try he scored, from that kick back inside from the spousal abuser, and you can see it as well from that last try he scored, which was beautiful play after the game was done, but beautiful play all the same. That Jones got through, offloaded to Hastings, who was supporting, who put it back inside to Evalds to race clear. Very, very nice try. And I just think there's a lot of skill in this Salford side when they get the platform right. And they did in this game. Mossop and Dudson, I think that they're having good seasons. They're not great players anymore, but they're having good seasons. And then in particular, Jones and Griffin are going to be big misses for Salford next year. You talk about they're going to lose a big core of this side. That's two big losses in the back row that I've been impressed with this year throughout, I think. So well done to Salford. Definitely puts them back in the conversation for the top positions, and has Trinity looking over their shoulders. The table is... well, it's something to talk about.
Yeah,
is it not?
We'll talk about that when the standings. There's just a couple of things I wanted to say. This game was quite crucial, wasn't it? It felt like the winners were looking up, where the losers were going to be looking down, and that applied whichever way you looked at it. Particularly because Salford have got a positive points difference, quite a positive one actually. I just wanted a quick shout out. Go on.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to give Joey Luxick credit for scoring a try. Now, hang on a minute. This was about 8 meters out, not a meter, so it was slightly different.
But it's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Every week
But it's this thing, isn't it? It's like a reflex action that he catches them at marker and yeah, straight through. And the other thing I noticed again from the highlights is that Salford's short kicking game. I mean, you mentioned there for Evold's first try, their short kicking game seemed to be on point, and they seem to be causing Wakefield a lot of problems with the short kicking game, which is good to see. But yeah, I mean, the scoreline tells you everything. It was pretty comfortable in the end, which was I couldn't have, before this game kicked off, I don't think I could have quite called it either way. I thought it'd be a bit more intense than perhaps it was.
Yeah, definitely. I will give Ryan Hampshire credit for the best dummy half pass of the weekend. The pass out for one of the Jones Bishop tries. That was a wonderful pass. Right on the line there. Okay, standings then. St Helens regained their 6-point lead at the top, sat on 32 points. Warrington are second on 26, with Hull FC up to third on 22, with Catalans fall to fourth. They're sat on 20 points. Castleford hold on to 5th place on 18 points. Salford, the only team outside the top 2 on positive points difference, are up to 6th and lead a group of 3 on 16 points. That group includes Wigan. I tried to hold it off, but I couldn't.
You couldn't do it?
No. That group includes Wigan, with 7th being their highest position in the league so far this year, and Wakefield, who dropped to 8th after a 4th loss in a row for the Winnety Cats. Huddersfield are 9th on 14 points, which is just 2 above the bottom spot, which means by the time Huddersfield kick off against Wigan, there's every chance that they'll be level on points with either Hull KR or London. Leeds, Hull KR and London all have 12 points and are joint last.
Yeah, as you said, the table, my God, it's interesting.
Forget Saints, they're not of interest to anyone else until the big games. And we see if Holbrook can arrange that side to win a big game, because he's consistently failed to do it so far.
Yeah, and there's no real conversation about second either, is there? Let's be honest.
If Warrington keep letting themselves down, then there could be a conversation. But you have to rely on Hull FC to win more than 2 or 3 in a row, because it's only, like we said a month ago, they conceded 55 at Magic Weekend to Huddersfield, who are in the bottom 4 and looking like an out of form side now. It is just crazy. Wigan and Hull FC were the big winners this weekend. Yeah,
I mean, it's interesting because you mentioned it in the standings about points difference. Hull FC's points difference could really come and bite them, even if they did. Obviously they've got to win 3 more than Warrington do because of their negative points difference. So I really can't see them doing that over the last, 10 games? 10 games left?
11 games left, yeah.
11 games left, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I can't see them doing that. So for me, the top 2 are set in those positions, but it's all bets are off for the rest of it. I wouldn't like to say who's going to finish 3rd to 12th. It's really too close to call.
Stat line of the week. There's so many impressive attacking stat lines, but when you see numbers that just stand out as being like nonsensical, Alrix da Costa's 64 tackles and 19 marker tackles. It just, even though it was in a poor performance by his side and they lost the game and all that sort of stuff that you wrap around it, that's a phenomenal effort. And it's effort on effort, because 19 marker tackles, that's a high figure. We haven't really been able to put the stats together as well this year because of all the games that have had players missing.
Yeah.
So I haven't compiled best performances of the season, that sort of stuff, because you don't know if one of the ones that's missing might have been great. But that, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 19 marker tackles is the highest we've seen.
I would say so, and 64 is probably in the top 5 all time, isn't it?
Top 10 all time.
Top 10, maybe.
Yeah. That's impressive.
It is.
Player of the week. I'm going to say that there was too many to pick for me this week, with a number of hat-tricks, a number of players with 3 or more assists, a number of players who looked great. If you take the the Leeds and Wigan game out of it, there's probably players in every game that could be a contender for Player of the Week. I can't just pick one, and part of that is I don't want to have to pick Robert Louis to be the one, because he was absolutely instrumental in that Salford performance. Connor, because he entertained me the most on an individual basis.
Fair enough. I'm going to go slightly left field, just because I enjoy what a story it is, and I'm going to go for Reece Williams for this week. Across the board, tries, meters, tackle busts, clean breaks. One of those guys that you don't necessarily think about in the top echelon of wingers, but performance of the week, he deserves recognition from me.
Well, he's got my highlight of the week, although it's more about Abdul. Williams' try after that great build-up by Abdul is my highlight of the week because of its significance as much as anything else. There were lots of really good tries this weekend. Saints, Salford, Hull, they all scored some great tries, but this one was so significant, especially after Hull KR had gone and won against Warrington.
Yes, that's true.
It was hugely significant.
They had something to live up to. My highlight probably Saints' first try, just because it was just sexy rugby league. That's all you can say, really.
In the predictions, Sarah went 3 out of 6 last week. That leaves her on 68% overall, but she is still leading the way. Tim, 4 out of 6, so improvement from him. That takes him up to 61%. You're left on 65 and I'm left on 66 amongst our tipping. In the Super Brew, John Bennett wears the yellow cap, but Scoots, as well as being top of us four in our own little predictions, is top of the Super Brew League as well. So well done, Scoots, holding on to top spot. In the Fantasy League, Alan Bagley holds strong at the top. John Scotter had the best weekly performance, but this was with his second team, who are much lower down in the table. His Premier team actually lost a little bit of ground on the teams directly above him in the top 10. I know that because I'm the team directly above him in the top 10. If only I'd have subbed out Roby sooner. Being on holiday when his injury was confirmed didn't help me. Anyway, thanks for everyone's fan reviews on that this week and for playing along in the competitions as well. Get your fan reviews in on the Google form for next week's games. Links will be posted out on Twitter 20 minutes or so after all the games finish, as per usual. And also, if you're not a Twitter user, get in touch with us, send us a message on Facebook or send us an email, superleaguepod@gmail.com, and we'll send you the link and you can send your match reviews in. We want to hear from more voices the more the season goes on, because I think we're kind of trailed off a little bit. We want more. We want more from you all. Okay.
Not.
That's oh god, we're doing longer than I thought we were going to do this week, Alan. I don't understand.
We always do.
Let's rattle through the other results because there's not much to talk about there. We'll do that next.
Right, so on to other results from this weekend. So it was the 17th round of the Championship. First result, quite a shock. It was Toulouse 18, Swinton 20. Great win for the Lions there. Slightly less surprising. It was finished Toronto 70, Dewsbury 8. Who got in touch on this one?
Carsten, Toronto came out firing and never really stopped. Dewsbury looked outclassed all over the park. And Attila Murphy got in touch to say, excellent performance against a heavily depleted Rams side. The ball was passed with finesse to both wings, leading to O'Brien having to convert most of his 10 from 11 from the edges. That said, Akers, Sidlow and Malali rampaged through the middle to score as well. Kay passed 150 tries. Warranty got one for Dewsbury on his 300th appearance. Special shout out to Olberson's 60-yard interception and carry.
It finished Barrow 21, Halifax 8. Lee 52, Bradford 20 in probably the end of our competitive season. Featherstone 22, Widnes 4. Batley 24, Sheffield 54, getting back on track, and a big win for York 60, Rochdale 0. So the standings.
I assume from the lack of chat there, neither of us bothered to watch that Toronto game. I chose the golf instead because when it was the re-showing of it later on, because I saw the score, But
Yeah. No, I watched the London game instead.
Toronto are top on 32
Yeah.
points. Toulouse second on 24, but have had their advantage over the field cut to 2 points, with Featherstone, Leigh and York all on 22. Sheffield in 6th have 20, Bradford have 18, Halifax have 16. Then there's a gap to Batley in 9th on 12. Swinton are up to 10th on 10 points. Dewsbury fall to 11th on 9. Widnes are in 12th